May we acknowledge the presence of Her Excellency, Vice President of the Republic of the Philippines, Zara Duterte. May we also acknowledge the representative from the Commission on Audit, Assistant Commissioner Alexander Juliano, and from the Department of Budget and Management, Chief Johnny Castillo. May we also acknowledge the members present. May we acknowledge the presence of the former President, Representative Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, Deputy Minority Leader Franz Castro, Deputy Speaker Yasser Balindong, Deputy Majority Leader Ino D, Deputy Majority Leader Lianda Bolilla, Deputy Majority Leader Jose Bong Tebes, Deputy Minority Leader Presley De Jesus, our Chairperson Elizalde Co, Senior Vice Chair Stella Kimbo, Vice Chair Zia Alonto Adjong, Vice Chair Rachel Del Mar, Vice Chair Jose Alvarez, Vice Chair Natasha Co, Vice Chair Claude Bautista, Vice Chair Maricar Zamora, Representative Arlene Brosas, Representative Isidro Ungab, Representative Chino Miguel Almario, Representative Raul Manuel, Representative Loreto Amante, Representative Salvador Pleito, Representative Joel Chua, Representative Jefferson Conghun, Representative Bambi Imano, Representative Mark Go, Representative Milagros Aquino Magsaysay, Representative Francisco Paulo Ortega, Representative Micaela Swansing, Representative Ramon Gutierrez, Representative Geraldine Roman, Representative Maria Victoria Copilar, Representative Christian Onabia, Representative Jaime Presnedi, Representative Drixe Cardema, and Vice Chair Alan T. Madam Chair, this is also to formally inform the members of the committee that the COA have complied with the subpoena duces tecum issued by this committee on August 16, 2024 on the submission of the COA report on the use of the confidential funds of the Office of the Vice President and the Department of Education. The report was submitted on August 21, 2024. A copy of the said audit report has been submitted to the Chairman of the Committee on Appropriations. Members of the committee who wish to access and examine the content of this report are advised to submit a formal written request through the chairperson of the committee. That's all, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Salamat. To our Appropriations Chair, the Honorable Elizalde Co, our former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, colleagues, our Vice President, the Honorable Sara Duterte, the OVP family, magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat. On behalf of Speaker Martin Romualdez, welcome po to the House of Representatives. So today we are discussing the proposed budget of the Office of the Vice President for 2025, which totals 2.037 billion pesos. This 8.05% increase from the current year's budget is intended to support the continuation and expansion of the OVP's key programs. But before we proceed, Committee Secretary, kindly update us on documents received that are relevant to today's hearing.
Madam Chair, I have already stated a while ago that we are in receipt already of the COA audit report.
Salamat. And so with that, Madam President, you may proceed with the budget presentation.
Thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The presentation will be in three parts. The first part is the audiovisual presentation. May we request the Secretariat to please play the audiovisual presentation. Thank you.
The Office of the Vice President's mission to deliver efficient, accessible, and responsive public service has already reached millions of Filipinos across the country. And the promise of a remarkable and meaningful impact is gleaned from the strength, hard work, and optimism shown by the individuals, groups, and communities being served by the OVP through its interventions that offer immediate and long-term solutions. These interventions were designed developed and implemented through the OVP's collaboration with various government agencies, local government units, private groups, people's organizations, and individual partners. The Office of the Vice President, the second highest government office in the Philippines, an institution for public service, an institution of nation building, an institution of change, stability, and progress. The OVP is an institution committed to the success of its programs and initiatives intended to create a lasting positive impact on the lives of Filipinos. Under the leadership of Vice President Sara Duterte, the Office of the Vice President has steadfastly worked to deliver essential social services across different regions of the country. The OVP is an active participant in the movement to achieve the nation's aspiration to have a prosperous, inclusive, and resilient future. We at the OVP continue to share in the noble mission of improving the quality of life of every Filipino family, especially those in the most underserved communities. We provide vital public assistance programs that ensure support, aid in the plight of the vulnerable sectors, and help alleviate the challenges of poverty in many communities. From January 2023 to July 2024, over 360 million pesos combined amount was successfully allocated to urgently address our people's pressing need for medical and burial assistance. A total amount of 364,383,041.87 pesos worth of medical assistance were provided to a total of 79,721 beneficiaries, while 99,240,000 pesos worth of burial assistance were given to 19,882 beneficiaries from various parts of the country. We have carried on in this tireless pursuit by rendering public assistance to thousands of Filipinos through OVP satellite offices in Luzon, Cagayan Valley, Pangasinan, and Bicol. In Visayas, Panay and Negros Islands, Eastern Visayas, and Cebu, Bohol, and Siquijor. And in Mindanao, Caraga, Western Mindanao, Southern Mindanao, and Bar, Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. In addition, 2 extension offices of the Public Assistance Division were also opened in Lipa, Batangas, and Tondo, Manila. Each satellite office and extension office across the country complement the functions of the central office in Robinson Cybergate Plaza in Mandaluyong. For fiscal year 2024, the OVP has a 1.885 billion peso available budget under the General Appropriations Act. As of June 30, 2024, the OVP has already obligated 40% of the allotment received, or equivalent to 826.605 million pesos, with a disbursement rate of 70%, or 518.379 million pesos. In our goal of making sure that our people are afforded with safe, accessible, and secured commute, the Office of the Vice President has offered free transportation services to 414,734 Filipinos from January to June 2024. A total of 7 buses were deployed to transport passengers in Bacolod, Cebu, Davao, and Metro Manila. Following the recent calamity that has disrupted the lives of our people in Luzon and some parts of Visayas, we have also intensified our efforts to deliver immediate relief and assistance to affected communities. In adherence to our objective of saving lives and ensuring the utmost safety of all, 462,867 individuals and 134,168 families have benefited from the relief operations mobilized by our Disaster Operations Center from January to June 2024. A total of 58.3 million pesos were effectively allocated to various resource mobilization endeavors in support of all undertakings that aid OVP-DOC's relief and rescue activities. We at the Office of the Vice President continue to rally behind the pursuit of environmental preservation while underscoring the value of education and oral health through the Pagbabago, a Million Learners and Trees campaign. The program is a two-pronged intervention of the Office of the Vice President to provide hope and encouragement to Filipino learners and champion care for our environment. From January 2023 to July 2024, we are pleased to say that over 300,000 trees were planted across many communities all over the country, while over 175,000 bags with dental kits and school supplies were distributed to thousands of young learners in many remote school communities. In ensuring adequate and sustained nutritional support to Filipino school children, the PAN Setup program has provided a total of 1,216,510 PAN Setup buns, which were distributed to several identified school communities in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Our mission lies in our unwavering resolve to equip every young learner through nutrition, while leading them to a healthier future where they can actively nurture their growth potential. Aligning with the agenda of food security and sufficiency, we successfully initiated the distribution of rice bags and food packs to 36,260 Filipino families and individuals who are facing the challenges of hunger and food insecurity. The RISE program of the Office of the Vice President is conducted to extend immediate relief and provide necessary support to our disadvantaged Filipinos under difficult situations. We reiterate our goal of helping our people realize their hopes for better quality of life by paving avenues that urgently address their most pressing needs. Likewise, we remain committed to our mission to promote socio-economic development among women and members of the LGBTQ+ communities by providing livelihood and employment opportunities to the qualified recipients of Magnegosyo Taday program. From January 2023 to July 2024, a total of 1,965,000 worth of livelihood assistance was successfully granted to 50 qualified recipients. They will also undergo technical and financial management training to ensure the success of their projects. We also continue in our resolve to uphold the value of transformational and servant leadership among the Filipino youth through the You Can Be VP program. By promoting immersive opportunities that present the intricacies of governance and policy formulation, we hope that we can inspire them to become equipped and exemplary students with a genuine regard for their nation's welfare. Covering the period of January 2023 to June 2024, 255 local and international engagements were attended by the Office of the Vice President to show support and express our gratitude for the commendable social, civic, and development efforts undertaken by various organizations in the public and private sector. For 2025, the recommended budget for OVP is 2.37 billion pesos, an 8.05 increase compared to the current year appropriation amounting to 1.885 billion pesos. This proposal, once approved, will enable the OVP to continue the operations of the satellite offices and extension offices. It will also ensure the success of the expanded OVP's social services. Hand in hand, we will usher in innovation, carry on transformative progress, and shape a more prosperous future for our people, our communities, and our country. The OVP shares the hopes, aspirations, and dreams of the Filipinos, and we at the OVP take pride that it is an institution that puts the welfare of the Filipinos at the heart of its mission. The OVP commits to lead, serve, uplift, and empower the Filipinos. Ang tanggapan ng pangalawang Pangulo ng Pilipinas, pamumunuan, paglilingkuran, aalalayan ang mga Pilipino. Lagi kaming tapat sa bayan.
Thank you, Secretariat. We proceed to the second part, which is the opening statement for the budget. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum. Madayaw, maayong adlaw kaninyong tanan. Magandang araw sa inyong lahat. On June 19, 2022, I swear an oath to faithfully and conscientiously fulfill my duties as the Vice President of the Philippines. Preserve and defend its Constitution, execute its laws, do justice to every man, and consecrate myself to the service of the nation. It is then my lawful duty to give aid to any person who reaches out to the OVP seeking relief. I must do justice to every man, and I intend to do so. Historically, the medical and burial assistance programs have always been continuing projects of the institution. The legacy projects that we envision, however, includes a permanent office for future vice presidents, a vice president museum, and for the OVP to have its own charter. Unfortunately, the latter projects may never come to fruition given the political climate surrounding the institution. The programs, activities, and projects of the OVP that are original to my term are those that echo my campaign platform of trabaho, edukasyon, at mapayapang pamumuhay. More importantly, these also embody the nature of constant requests and pleas for assistance that we have been receiving in the OVP, majority of which are the medical and burial assistance, followed by assistance for financial difficulties, livelihood, and support for school-related expenses, as well as immediate aid when calamities strike. Aspiring to provide responsive service even to geographically isolated and disadvantaged communities, the OVP established 10 satellite offices, 2 extension offices, a disaster operations center, and extended programs such as the medical and burial assistance, Libreng Sakay, Kalusugan food trucks, and the Pansarap project, Pagbabago, A Million Learners, and Trees campaign, Magnegosyo Taday, and relief operations for individuals during crisis and emergencies. These programs fall under the banners of peace, poverty alleviation, calamity response, health, education, and environmental stewardship. These form part of the oath I have taken, as these are repeatedly mentioned and provided for in our Constitution. On the matter of OVP projects being similar to the mandate of other government offices, there is certainly no agency that has the monopoly of government services. No office of the government should be so helpless as to deny assistance to a person in distress. After all, the duty of government is to afford our countrymen with faithful public service. Corollary to this is the issue of politics being involved in relation to the national budget and release of financial assistance. We need not go further than the statement of Senator Amy Marcos during the Senate budget hearing, wherein she corroborated our claim and said, "Ang sasabihin ko lang, hindi naman sa barangay lamang napupolitika ang ayuda, pati dito sa mga senador, pati sa ating pangalawang Pangulo." I shall now address the issues that are germane to the use of public funds. It is my belief that it would be a stretch, if not absurd, to compare the budget of my immediate predecessor to the present budget proposal. We do not have personal knowledge as to why she did not request for a fair budget for her projects. On the issue of security personnel, it must be clarified that during the time of my predecessors, the protection team was only limited to the Vice Presidential Security Detachment. During my term, however, there were legal issuances made by the DND, AFP, PNP, and NAPOLCOM for the creation of the AFP Vice Presidential Security and Protection Group and the PNP Vice Presidential Protection Division. It must also be clarified that the number of security personnel is not determined by the OVP. We are mere recipients of the security personnel detailed to the office. To date, there are no more PNP personnel in the OVP. On the issue of confidential funds, We have received audit actions regarding the confidential funds of the OVP. We have submitted our responses and we assure our full cooperation with the ongoing audit. I am, however, bewildered as to the issues being propagated and the fact that we were able to efficiently utilize funds given to the OVP in December 2022, considering that in the government, usually we disperse millions, if not billions of pesos in a single day. And what makes it even more perplexing is that government agencies are often criticized for low budget utilization rates. For this proposal, as an example, we were even required to explain the low utilization or disbursement rates and present a catch-up plan for such. Turning on the issue of the book I have written, ang libro na pinamagatang Isang Kaibigan ay ginagamit namin sa book donation at book reading or storytelling sessions sa mga paaralang binibisita ko. Isinasagawa namin ito upang mahikayat ang mga bata na mahalin ang pagbabasa at sumulat ng sarili nilang kwento. The inclusion of my name and image on the About the Author page is a common practice for authors and is not intended as a political move. More importantly, the project recipients of the book are elementary students and grade 7 learners. This belies any insinuation of political motives, as they will not even be eligible to vote for 2028. Which then brings us to the matter of impeachment. Bilang isang kaibigan, I will not violate the confidence of a few members of the House of Representatives who have either recorded conversations or participated in shared conversations regarding each impeachment proceedings against me. Nonetheless, this is nothing new. Talks of impeachment have been ongoing for several months now. In fact, a member of the lower house has publicly declared in an interview where she was quoted by the Philippine Daily Inquirer saying that in light of the possible numerous violations of the OVP on the use of the 125 million confidential fund, which is not in the 2022 General Appropriations Act, we are not discounting the fact that it may file an impeachment case against the Vice President. Surprisingly, despite the absence of proof as to any wrongdoing, she already revealed the grounds for impeachments when she was also quoted saying as, especially on the misuse of public funds, technical malversation, and violation of the 1987 Constitution. Finally, on the issue of the West Philippine Sea, I stand by the Constitution, which provides that the state shall pursue an independent foreign policy in its relations with other states. The paramount consideration shall be national sovereignty, territorial integrity, national interest, and the right to self-determination. As Filipinos, we are all in agreement that our claim is firmly anchored on the UN Convention on the Law of the Seas and the 2016 Arbitral Award. But we must also bear in mind that bilateral relations are not dictated by a singular issue or concern like a territorial dispute, but rather by a comprehensive approach that considers the broader context of shared interests and regional stability. While silence on specific harassment issues may be perceived as a lack of response, it is essential to recognize that such decisions are made following established mandates and particular responsibilities of relevant agencies. It is well settled that the President is the chief architect of foreign policy. It therefore follows that appropriate agencies are tasked with addressing and implementing measures related to our foreign policy positions and principles. As a reserve officer of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, I sincerely appreciate the sacrifices made by our uniformed personnel in the service of our national interests. However, it is crucial to avoid politicizing their sacrifices for media mileage or social media commentary. Instead, we should focus on ensuring that their efforts are recognized and valued in a manner that respects their contributions and upholds the dignity of their service, which we in the OVP continue to do and have always chosen to do away with the cameras. I shall now proceed to the PowerPoint presentation of the salient points of the OVP budget proposal for fiscal year 2025. May I request the Secretariat for the PowerPoint presentation? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We present the key points from our submitted documents in response to the request of the committee. On item number 1, on the highlights and major thrusts of fiscal year 2025 proposed budget of the Office of the Vice President, under the fiscal year 2025 of the National Expenditure Program, the Department of Budget and Management has recommended a budget of 2.03 billion vis-a-vis the 3.240 billion proposal of the Office of the Vice President. The amount recommended is 8.05% higher than the fiscal year 2024 budget as appropriated. The 8% increase is lodged in the expansion of the socio-economic programs, medical and burial assistance, and disaster relief. Out of the 2.37 billion budget, 9.25 pertains to the recommended personnel services budget. The recommended personnel services budget for fiscal year 2025 covers 149 filled positions, special duty allowance for military and uniformed personnel, salary for non-permanent positions. It also includes provision for terminal leave benefits of mandatory retirees, loyalty award, and anniversary bonus for OVP personnel. The total personal services, including RLIP for fiscal year 2025 is 188.514 million. The recommended maintenance and other operating expenses, or MOOE, for fiscal year 2025 is equivalent to 1.792 billion. A significant portion of the total MOOE is allocated for financial assistance and subsidies and supplies and materials welfare goods, which account for 52.86% and 15.92% of the total MOOE. The MOOE is 87.98% of the total budget. The total capital outlay budget is 2.77% of the total recommended budget. This covers the procurement of motor vehicles in relation to the ceremonial, diplomatic, and advocacy-based engagements of the OVP. It also includes ICT equipment and various machineries and equipment. As to the appropriation source, the amount of 2.26 billion or 99.5% is under agency-specific and 0.05% is under the retirement and life insurance premium, or RLIP. On item number 2, the matter of budget utilization for the first semester of fiscal year 2024. Out of the current full year allotment of 1.885 billion pesos, the OVP has utilized 785.1 million as of the end of the first semester of 2024, which is equivalent to an obligation rate of 42%. We have disbursed 516.7 million with a disbursement rate of 66%. Based on the combined current year and continuing appropriations, The first semester obligation rate is 40%, while the disbursement rate is 70%. The budget utilization rate for our key programs are as follows. For financial subsidy, which covers the medical and burial assistance and livelihood grants under the Magnegosyo Taday program, the utilization rate is at 41%. For libreng sakay, it's 25%. For Pagbabago program, it is 82% based on awarded contracts, but actual distribution only started in the second semester. For the Pansarap program, 4%. Procurement was still under the post-qualification stage as of the end of the first semester. And as for disaster operation, 78%. On item number 3, which is the comparative budget allocation from 2019 to 2025. The appropriated budget of the OVP beginning 2019 is above 500 million. It has significantly increased since then, and under the current year appropriation, the OVP has 1.885 billion, while the appropriation has significantly increased in 2023. The obligation rate remained in good standing and maintained the rate of above 90%. Presented here is a table showing the amounts per allotment class from 2019 to 2025. For fiscal year 2025, the OVP has a recommended amount of 2.037 billion under the fiscal year 2025 National Expenditure Program. Similar to fiscal year 2024 budget, significant portion of the recommended level is under financial assistance and subsidy for the implementation of the medical and burial assistance, as well as the OVP's livelihood project, Magnegosyo Taday. The recommended fiscal year 2025 budget is 8.05% higher than the fiscal year 2024 budget as appropriated due to the expansion of the socio-economic services of the OVP, which is proposed under Tier 2. Of the total OVP proposed budget, 1.269 billion or 62% is allotted for the socio-economic programs of the OVP. On item 4, which is on the issues and concerns in budget execution resulting to low utilization, we would like to note that the 40% obligation rate for the first semester is close to our submitted first semester target of 43%. Bulk of the budget of the OVP is for subsidies, which we intend to spread out and utilize evenly throughout the year. We achieved almost the same utilization rates for the first semesters of the previous year, but we were still able to achieve more than the 90% budget utilization at the end of the year. For 2022, first semester utilization rate was at 50%, while the full year utilization rate was at 92%. For 2023, the first semester utilization rate was at 43.6%, while the full year utilization rate was also at 92%. We also have programs which are to be implemented in the second semester of the year, specifically the Pagbabago and Pansarap programs, which we roll out during the start of the new school year, which begins in June, July, August. Another reason for the utilization rate is the ongoing paper review for the applications received for the Magnegosyo Taday. Sorry, just July and August. There are no classes during the month of June. The disbursement rate of 70% over obligation was due to the unbilled medical assistant grants through various service providers from 10 satellite offices and the central office, as well as undelivered, unpaid, procured goods during the latter part of the first semester. On item number 5, on the spending catch-up plans, to ensure that the OVP will be able to achieve high utilization and disbursement rates at the year end. The OVP will implement the following. First, we will release a grant of assistance under the Magnegosyo Today in the second semester of the year. The first semester of the year was dedicated to accepting applications and thorough paper review and ocular inspection. To date, the implementing unit is in the process of approving the accreditation of associations and processing of grant to individual and group applicants. Second, we will closely monitor the remaining projects under public bidding and ensure that the contracts will be awarded within the fiscal year. The items covered by the awarded contracts are to be delivered in the second semester, and the payment, disbursement for those items should be made before the end of 2024. On item Number 6, major accomplishments of the OVP. As the second highest office in the land, the OVP aims to promote the welfare of every Filipino in line with its vision to create lasting impact on the lives of every Filipino through its socio-economic programs and services. In the past 2 years, we have successfully rolled out new programs such as the Libreng Sakay Pagbabago, A Million Learners and Trees Campaign, Kalusugan Food Trucks, and Pansarap Project. The OVP programs are implemented through our central office, satellite office, and extension offices. The OVP established satellite offices and extension offices which are strategically located in key areas in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao to provide Filipinos with immediate access to the services offered by the OVP. In Luzon, we have the Cagayan Valley Satellite Office, Pangasinan Satellite Office, and Bicol Satellite Office. In Visayas, we have the Cebu, Bohol, and Siquijor Satellite Office, Eastern Visayas Satellite Office, Panay and Negros Island Satellite Office, and in Mindanao, we have the Caraga Satellite Office, Southern Mindanao Satellite Office, Western Mindanao Satellite Office, and BARM Satellite Office. All the time, the Southern Mindanao carries the Northern Mindanao areas that are not covered by Western Mindanao and Caraga. We also established 2 extension offices in Tondo, Manila, and Lipa, Batangas. In 2023, we were able to cater to 977,615 beneficiaries out of the 670,300 targets. As of June 30 this year, we have served 684,830 out of the 1,013,620 target beneficiaries. And for 2025, we target to cater 1,139,244 beneficiaries. For fiscal year 2023, the OVP was able to achieve its targets for the outcome and output indicators. From a target of 670,300 beneficiaries, the OVP was able to serve 977,615 beneficiaries across all OVP services, which is 45% higher than target. From a target of 400, the OVP was able to establish or strengthen 793 strategic partnerships. From an 85% target for percentage of requests acted upon with standard processing time and percentage of projects with partners implemented as planned, the OVP achieved 98 and 100% respectively. For the percentage equivalent of average satisfaction ratings for OVP services, the OVP was able to achieve 97% satisfaction rating, 7 percentage points higher than the 90% target. The OVP was able to achieve its target number of ceremonial engagements completed. Out of the 2.4 billion budget in 2023, 2.3 billion was utilized, resulting to an obligation rate of 92%, and 2.1 billion was dispersed, which is equivalent to a 93% disbursement rate. For the current year, we are on track to achieve all our targets under fiscal performance. The OVP holds a distinct position in our bureaucracy. As the second highest office in the land, the OVP carries out functions that complement the work of other government agencies while advancing the well-being of every Filipino, with a mission to deliver efficient, accessible, and responsive public service. Our work resonates at the core of the nation's welfare and progress. Shukran. Madam Chair, that ends the presentation of the OVP.
Maraming salamat, Madam Vice President. At this point, I'd like to inform the body that the budget sponsor for the office of the Vice President is the Honorable Zia Alonto Adyong. So we will now begin interpellation. Pero bagong lahat, gusto ko lang sana ipaalala sa mga miyembro at sa ating kagalang-galang na bisita na ang tatalakayan natin ngayong araw ay ang budget ng Office of the Vice President at ang usaping paggastos ng opisina ng ating pangalawang Pangulo. So, also, considering that the reports, if you wish to propound questions on confidential funds and expenses, we request the members to be circumspect in disclosing information and details of operations that may affect national security, public order, and public safety. Right? And of course, the usual reminder that each of you would have only 5 minutes and that the responses of our resource persons would not be included in those. So our first to interpolate would be from the minority. We have our Deputy Minority Leader, Franz Castro.
Thank you.
Madam Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Am I
Madam Chair.
recognized?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, Madam Vice
Yes.
President.
I would like to forgo the opportunity to defend the budget in a question and answer format. I will leave it up to the House to decide on the budget submitted.